Hey, boys and girls. So, I have a little surprise for you, and that is I brought our Lulu's Mysterious Mission book home. So, I'm going to read a couple chapters a week and post them on our Focus webpage, and I'll show you more about where you can find it later. But that way, we get to find out what happens. And I brought the next one. Lulu's getting a sister. So, we're going to start with this one, and then we'll move on to the other one because this one we're almost done with. Okay. So remember, she had a babysitter, Mrs. Sonia Sophia Solinsky, and she did not like her and was trying to get rid of her. But then she found out that she used to be a spy, and now she wants her to train her all about being a spy. So I'm going to read. I'll show you the pictures when we get to them, okay? On Monday afternoon, after school, Lulu rushed into her house yelling, "I'm home, Miss Solinsky, and ready for training." Some clever readers will wonder why Mrs. Solinsky wasn't waiting outside Lulu's school. Some even cleverer readers will figure out that it's because Mrs. Solinsky is now Lulu's spy trainer, not her babysitter. There was no answer. Lulu yelled a few more times, then ran upstairs and checked all the rooms, repeatedly calling Mrs. Solinsky's name. Still no answer. Back downstairs again, Lulu went racing from room to room, her heart beating fast as she called out, "Miss Solinsky!" But the house was empty. At least it seemed empty until Lulu reached the kitchen, where she saw someone sitting quietly on a chair. That someone definitely wasn't Miss Solinsky. What Lulu saw instead was a stranger, a woman as beautiful as a movie star, with long blonde hair and big blue eyes, and a slinky blue dress that matched perfectly with her eyes. And though, as we all know, our Lulu is not the kind of girl who frightens easily, she was shocked and alarmed to encounter this awesome blonde. "Who are you?" Lulu demanded. "And why are you here? And what have you done with Mrs. Sonia Sophia Solinsky?" The beautiful stranger smiled at Lulu, tossed her long blonde hair, and then replied in a voice as sweet as candy. "But Lulu," she said to her, "I am Miss Solinsky." Lulu was fainting. Well, not really fainting, but feeling so weak and wobbly in the knees that she had to sit herself down before she fell down. And actually, though I'm the one writing this story, I also am feeling just a little faint. "I don't understand. I'm so confused." Lulu was almost babbling. "How can you be you when you have turned into a totally different person?" Mrs. Solinsky corrected her. "I have turned myself into a different person. We're finished with R&R, and now we're moving on to Basic Spy Lesson 2, which is known as D&P, Disguise and Penetrate." Mrs. Solinsky explained that an extremely important spycraft technique was the ability to disguise your appearance so totally that even those closest to you wouldn't know you were you. Just as important, she added, was being able to penetrate, see through others' disguises, so you'd always be able to tell that they were them. "We'll work on D&P today and tomorrow," Miss Solinsky said to Lulu, who completely recovered from her shock, said, "Great, let's go." Mrs. Solinsky explained that she had spent all Monday morning searching through her duffel bag for various items to transform Lulu into. "Into what?" asked Lulu, exploding with curiosity. "Who will I be?" "You'll see in due time," Miss Solinsky said. "We'll do them one by one, and after each transformation, you'll look in the mirror. But remember, no complaining and no argument." No complaining, no argument. This was asking a lot, maybe too much of Lulu. Still, looking in the mirror after being disguised as a boy, Lulu had no complaints. She liked what she saw, with her hair tucked into a baseball cap, a sleek black leather jacket, and some fake brown freckles sprinkled across her nose. She'd been handsomely transformed from Lulu to Lou. She was okay, not thrilled, but okay with the sight of herself disguised as a middle-aged woman with glossy makeup, a raincoat, and high heels, though she certainly could have done without the ugly orange purse and the frizzy hair. It was only when the mirror reflected to Lulu's absolute horror a pudgy, pigtailed 3-year-old girl in pink sneakers, pink ribbons, pink pants, and a pink t-shirt that Lulu had to. She desperately had to say something. But before Lulu speaks, I'd like to say that if these transformations seem kind of impossible, and I'll be among the first to admit that they do, it's because we do not know the tricks of the trade. Spycraft can make anyone look shorter or taller, younger or older, female or male, animal, vegetable, or mineral. I may be writing this story, but the only folks here who know that the stuff are Triple S, the former head of all spy training, and Lulu, who is right now being trained. Except that maybe Lulu is about to stop being trained because she cannot help herself and she simply has to argue with Miss Solinsky. A spy disguised as a pink and pigtailed 3-year-old? This is positively the dopiest, dumbest, stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Miss Zielinski looked long and hard at Lulu. And this, she said, is gross insubordination. A fancy way to say that you have seriously disobeyed me and you are doomed. Since you have dared to question me, I hereby this minute resign as your spy trainer. Lulu, in a panic, sunk to the floor and actually begged on her bended knees, asking Mrs. Zielinski to give her one more chance. And after a whole lot of no's from Miss Zielinski and a whole lot of please, 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 please from Lulu, Miss Zielinski relented and said to Lulu, I've already invested a great deal of time in your training, and therefore I will give you one more chance. I will also offer the following explanations, after which I will never, ever again explain anything, and you will never, ever again argue or complain. Mrs. Zielinski proceeded to explain. If you wanted to put a spy in a playground or preschool or daycare center, who's the least suspicious person you could pick? The least suspicious person would be a little girl in pigtails equipped with a hidden camera and a recording device. Have I made my point? Don't answer. Of course I have. Miss Zielinski cleared her throat again. And in order to prepare you for the next disguise we're doing, so you won't lose control when you look at yourself in the mirror, consider this option. If the bad guy you wanted to spy on was meeting another bad guy somewhere out in the country with open fields and not a tree in sight, what disguise could you wear that would let you, without their having a clue, listen to every single word they said? Lulu, instead of trying to answer, took a look in the mirror. Calmly gazing back at her was a cow. And that's the end of chapter 15. So I'm going to be posting these stories on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, at least try to. So this is your first one, chapter 15. And on Wednesday, you can look for chapter 16. Have a good day, guys.